Hello, it's good to see you. Today we are going to be doing a little bit of a hypothetical, theoretical neighborhood gossip update. I was not planning on doing this today. Actually was not planning for anything this weekend to go the way it went. I mean, especially today. Today was completely crazy. And because of I don't know what it is, but like the fallout of what happened today, everybody, I've waited a half hour thinking it would get better. Theoretically, everyone's dogs in this neighborhood are going crazy. There are just dogs barking and barking. And it's finally, it's almost 10 o'clock. It's finally almost died down. But there has just been there was a big upheaval here. This morning, hypothetically, maybe this happened. I kind of have to go back. And it all starts with the garage door. But before I get into that, I wanted to show you this before I forget. They're still barking. The dogs are still upset. I am too. My whole day just got jacked up, allegedly, today. It just, nothing went the way it was supposed to. Look at this. Now, this is a thin, little, sad-looking thing. It actually tastes a lot better than it looks. I made these. Fortunately, I got up early enough and did this. These are the sugar-free bakeable cookies that came in the keto box. They're not sponsoring me to say this. I just wanted to let you know that I went ahead and made these. They're from whatever this company was, Pyure, P-Y-U-R-E. So I made some of these cookies, and I have to tell you, they're just plain. They're low-carb and chocolate chip cookies. They're also gluten-free and have a lot of fiber. They smell really good while you bake them, and I ate one while it was still nice and warm, and they're actually really good. The chocolate in them is really good. Sometimes the chocolate in these low-carb things is kind of yucky, but this is good. So I haven't tried one cold yet. So I thought I would try that while I explain some stuff. I made them a little bigger than you're supposed to. This is like 2 cookies in one, basically. They're actually really good. The one thing about the keto box I didn't like this month, usually they'll have a card in there with a bunch of discount codes on it, coupon codes for the items in the box. Like, you go to their website and you can, get them for 15% off or 20% off or whatever. There were no coupon codes in this box. I found these on Amazon. And they're a little pricey, but I did the subscription. And if you do the subscription, you save 10% off your first order. So I went ahead and did the subscription to get a new bag. I get a bag of these every 2 months. I figure that's, make these once every 2 months. They're actually pretty good. But if you look at the picture on the package, mine didn't come out anything like that. I made them just like they said to. Mine are flat. I mean, they don't, look at that. It's like the pictures of food at McDonald's compared to what they serve you. It's never the same. They addressed that in the movie Falling Down with good reason. Okay. That was one thing I want to show you. 2 other things real quick. This is not hypothetical. I'm just really excited. I just wanted to tell somebody this. One of my New Year's resolutions this year was to finish the book that I have been working on for an embarrassingly long time. It's a sequel to River Road, which I wrote years ago. I finished River Road in 2005. No, 2004. Finished it in 2004. And I started writing the sequel, which is called Holiday, about 10 years ago. I started it in, yeah, I guess it was about 2010 when I started that book. And then I put it away for years. I had a very, my kids were really small and I just didn't get a lot done on it. Anyway, my resolution for this year is to finish that book. And I started really working on it today, like seriously working on it. And the part of the problem was there was a big chunk right in the middle of this book that I had written in longhand. Most of it I type because I can type way faster than I can write. And I had written it in longhand, and then I couldn't find the notebook I wrote it in. So there was this big missing chunk right in the middle of the story. And yesterday, I dedicated a big part of yesterday. I just sat down with my laptop and I said, well, we're not going to look for that notebook anymore. I don't know where it is. I've looked everywhere. I can't find it. We're just going to sit down and rewrite it. We're going to rewrite that big chunk and put it in there. And that's what I did. It took several hours, but I rewrote it, got it in there, and I feel so good that I finally got that done. I have put that off for about 3 years. Finally got it done today. I'm really excited. So now that I have that big chunk filled in, I can go on and continue, where I left off, and I can work toward finishing this story. So I feel really good about that. I'm going to try to dedicate time every day to working on the story and getting it finished. And once I do, I want to take River Road and Holiday and put them somewhere where you can read them or buy them, like on Amazon or something. And then I'm also going to read it just like I did River Road for anybody who's interested in hearing it. I've written 2 books in the past, but they were not that great. I wrote them in my early 20s and they weren't too good, so I never did anything with those. The neighbors' dogs they're still going crazy. They've been very disturbed all day. It's been, hypothetically, it's been a mess around here today. So I'm really happy, anyway, to be working on my story again. That's wonderful. And my older son got all his hair cut off, which if you follow me on Instagram, you saw the picture of what his hair looked like. It's all gone, all of it. It's now really short. I was not there when he got it cut, but I understand that they got 6 really good-sized ponytails, long ponytails, to be donated. I don't know if it's going to Locks of Love, or there's at least one other one, but it's going to be, made for wigs for kids. So that's awesome. They said they could possibly they had so much hair they could possibly do 2 wigs out of it. So that's wonderful. It's going to take some getting used to. He's had long hair for 4 or 5 years, and it's just weird seeing him with short hair. That's going to take some getting used to. But anyway, it's done. He's fine with it. It's his hair. He wanted to cut it, so there we go. Okay. I think that's all I had. All right, now I will stop talking about that, and we will talk about the neighborhood. There wasn't much to talk about, or I didn't think there was, theoretically, until this morning. Now, I was proud of myself. I stayed up late last night, working on video stuff, and I got up this morning bright and early, made these cookies because they're really easy to make. I thought, let's just go ahead and make them. About time I got them out of the oven, the second batch, I had made 1 batch, got the second one out, there was a knock at the door. Theoretically, maybe. And I thought, who was that? And I looked at the time, and it was only about 9:30, and I thought, who's knocking at my door at 9:30 on a Sunday? That's weird. It was the police. And they were going around and knocking on everybody's door, hypothetically, telling us that we had to vacate the area. And I said, what? Why? They had that, the police tape, or it wasn't the do not cross tape, it was caution tape, allegedly, that was going around a house somewhere in the neighborhood, theoretically. And if you've watched my other videos and you know anything about some of the houses around here, hypothetically there may have been some activity there in the past where some people were living there, and I had reason to believe that something weird was going on over there. The people who lived there when I moved in, it seemed like they had a lot of friends, but their friends didn't come over all the time. They'd go for a while, and not much would go on over there, and then you would have a weekend where you get to have 20 different vehicles coming and going from that house, where they would pull up to the house, pull in the driveway, go up to the front door, not knock. They'd just walk in. About 10 minutes later, they'd leave. And then, 10 minutes later, another car would pull up, go in the house, and leave. And this would go on all weekend, hypothetically. And then one morning early on a Saturday morning, the police came and they were walking around the cars in the driveway and were taking pictures of something inside the vehicles. And then they left and came back about 45 minutes later and arrested 2 people out of the house and towed the vehicles away. And I never saw those people again. Allegedly, they never came back. I never saw their vehicles again. They were completely gone. Well, now that was, oh my gosh, that was not 9 or 10 months ago. It hasn't been quite a year. And you can think I'm nosy all you want to, but theoretically I may have found out that they were making meth in that house and they were selling it out of the house, allegedly. And they ended up having to completely gut the inside of the house because it was so contaminated with meth. And that's what the blue barrels in the backyard were about as well. They even ended up, hypothetically, having to they had a deck in the back. They had to tear the whole deck down. I don't know why. Maybe it may have had nothing to do with the meth, but they had to tear the deck completely down, remove all the materials and everything from the backyard, build a whole new deck. They had to replace several walls in the house. All the flooring had to be removed. It had to be replaced. They've been working on that house. They worked on the house nonstop for 6 months. I mean, they basically had to gut the entire house and rebuild it. The people who were living there were renters, allegedly. So, if you think I'm nosy and just a nosy old biddy with nothing better to do, I think I had a good reason to be suspicious. If you saw that much activity really close to your home, I think you'd be foolish not to be a little concerned about it. Turns out my concern was allegedly founded because they were manufacturing and selling meth literally right across the street from my house. And this had been going on the entire time. Hypothetically, it goes all the way back. They started, I know someone who knows, I can't tell you what they know, but apparently they have proof that they have been selling meth out of there since 2015. So it was before I moved here. Okay. That actually has nothing to do with this. I don't know why I just rehashed all that, but that was some new hypothetical information that I may or may not have acquired since the last time we talked, but I can't say how or from whom or if it's true or not. It may not be. I could be making all of this up. You don't know. Okay. So, I was hoping, honestly, I was hoping that they would just fix the house up and just sell it. Honestly, that's what I was hoping. No, they put it back up for rent. And this clown moved in, a literal clown. And I don't remember if I told you about him or not, that he ended up moving out. I thought he had moved out. He didn't move out. Apparently he was arrested. I missed that. I don't know how I missed that, but I heard that today, theoretically. Because we had a good long chunk of time today where we couldn't even be here, hypothetically. I know you get tired of me saying that. Don't take a drink every time I do. You'll die of alcohol poisoning. I'll just say this. Everything from here on out may be a total lie. Because I'm getting tired of saying it myself. Okay. I thought he had moved out. No, he got arrested. And then he came back. Well, he wasn't here long. And then, okay, let me get my time right. He disappeared. He had this little car with a big, looked like a big key on the back, had a little smart car. It was painted up. He had his own business as a clown. All that jazz. He came back to the house. And he wasn't from here. What was he, Dutch or something? I think he was Dutch. I think he was Dutch. That cookie's good. I'm trying to, this whole day has been crazy. Okay. He had only been back here for maybe 2 weeks, and everything seemed okay. You know, the car appears like, oh, well, I guess he didn't move out. He's back. Now, when he came back, I did not know he had been arrested for anything. And he was arrested for communicating threats to someone, and then there was a physical assault involving a female. I don't know, but it must have been pretty bad because they locked him up for a little bit. And then he came back. And then that is what led to something. I don't know how they found this out. I don't know. But I think it goes back to the garage door, because when the garage, I told you how to do with the garage door. This is what it goes back to. One thing they didn't get done before they moved in a new tenant was the garage door on this house didn't work, and it was really old, and just, it looked bad. You know, they did a lot of other work to the house. They had to repaint it repainted it on the inside and the outside, put a brand new roof on it. They had to replace all the windows. I mean, I don't know how much money they spent on this house. It had to be an unbelievable amount. And it took months and months to get all this done. Well, they didn't get the garage door done until this guy had moved in. Well, they replaced the garage door while he was living there. And there was one day I was here, and the people working on the garage door, I remember, because I was so irritated because they were being so loud. They were out there slamming things around, banging things, yelling at one another. And I heard one of them, now pardon me, but I'm quoting what this guy said. I was up here in my room when all the windows and doors shut, and I hear this, oh shit. And then I hear all this scrambling, and I thought, what in the world? And they all jumped in the van and drove away. And they left the garage door open. They left all their stuff out there. And I thought, what in the world just happened over there? And I didn't find out anything else about it. And then the police showed up. The police showed up maybe an hour after that. The van didn't come back. The people who were working on the garage door didn't come back. They had the door installed, but they were still in there doing something to it. The door was up. The old door was down. That's when something happened. And the police came in, and they brought in this. There were some police cars, and a van came, like a SWAT team van or something, and they went in the garage. And they were looking at something, and then they all came out. And there was something in the corner, but you couldn't really see what it was. They sent this robot over to it, and it was doing something. This went on for hours. They were over there doing something, and they ended up taking something away. I didn't know what it was. I didn't find out at that time what was going on. Okay, now, this was a while ago. This was at least a month ago, and then nothing else happened. I didn't see the clown anymore. The clown did not come back. But I did see the people who owned the house go over there several times. And I didn't hear anything weird. I didn't see anything weird. They got done with the door. You know, the door is beautiful. Like I said, out of all this, the bright side is the door they picked is absolutely gorgeous. It's a beautiful door. It looks perfect on the house. I mean, it just makes the whole house. I didn't realize how much that old door just made the house look kind of junky and bad. That new door just does it. Anyway. Okay. So this morning, we come to this morning? About 9:30, cops knocking on the door. Ma'am, we're asking everyone to please vacate the area. And they wouldn't say why. Theoretically, hypothetically, they were going up and down the street. Now they went and told everyone on our street. There are 3 streets right up next to one another. We're in the middle. And they evacuated everybody here and everybody up on this street. They did not evacuate the people back here, which I still think is kind of weird because that street butts up to this one. So if there's something going on in any house around here, you would think they would want to get them out of here as well. But they didn't. They didn't evacuate that street. I don't know why. We had to leave. We had to just go. And they had all our contact information. They would call us when we could come back. And I said, well, how long is that going to be? And I was told, well, we don't know. What's going on? We can't talk to you about that. Okay. Cool, I guess. So we had to go. It's fun loading up cats and cat carriers. I wasn't leaving them here. I didn't know what was going on. It's so stupid, but the first thing in my mind was coronavirus because I couldn't think of anything else because that's been really big in the news and I've been watching YouTube videos about it and thought, oh my God, do we have a neighbor with coronavirus? And I thought, that's stupid. They wouldn't evacuate the whole neighborhood. I mean, I can't imagine they would. That doesn't make any sense. They might quarantine somebody, but they're not going to. That's ridiculous. No, that's not what it is. And I don't imagine they would be taping off the place over here with caution tape. So everybody's loading up their pets, their kids, and there were some kids crying because they were scared. And I was here with my younger son, and he was bummed out. He said, "Mom, I can't play the Xbox." I said, "Well, I think we may have bigger problems than the Xbox today." And so we ended up going. There were some kids down the street that he's friends with, and we went to. We decided to meet later. My son and I went to get something to eat, and then later on in the day we were going to meet at the skating rink because we wanted to go roller skating. I don't roller skate very well, but I can sit and watch them teeter-totter around on the thing. I got out there a little bit, but I'm not very good. I grew up in an area where there was nowhere to roller skate at all, so I grew up on a dirt road. We were the only house. The closest skating rink was maybe 30 miles away, so I didn't get to go skating. So I got to talking to the people down the street, and they're really good. They're a really good source of information. And Itchy and Scratchy over here, they still have their relatives from wherever they came from. They're from Dog Patch or something. And I am not making fun of people from rural areas because you can't get much more rural than where I grew up. And they were out there raising canes. I don't know why we got to leave. Ain't nobody around here done nothing. And they saw that the house over here was being taped off. And one of the guys started to walk over there. And I may or may not have a neighbor down the street who was in law enforcement. And she said, sir, you need to just don't go over there. I want to know what's going on. He's out there screaming and hollering. I'm thinking he's going to get arrested. Okay. I don't know what happened over there, but he needs to stop. They're going to think he's involved in it somehow, whatever it is. I mean, we all knew it was pretty obvious it had something to do with a particular house in the neighborhood. I don't want to say which one. And I'm thinking, this is so weird. Okay, they've had to do so much to that house. At this point, I'm starting to think the house is just cursed. Like, we need to just scrape it. Like, just flatten it, scrape it, start it over. I don't know if maybe it's buried over an old graveyard. I don't know. Isn't that the cliche? It's, that house is just cursed. Just tear it down. I don't even know anymore. And I thought, well, it must be something serious. And then I started wondering, maybe they found a body in there or something. I don't know. Obviously something happened in there, and it was obviously serious. But why would they have us all leave? Theoretically. Well, anyway, like I was saying, the people down here are a really good source of information. They're like the eyes and ears of this whole neighborhood. I found it from them that clown was building explosives down in the basement. I didn't even know the house had a basement. Apparently it does. And that may explain, because I was amazed by the amount of stuff they pulled out of that house when the meth people left. I was amazed, and I kept wondering, how did you fit that much stuff in that little house? Because it's not a huge house. I mean, it's not tiny, but it's not that big. And I was amazed by the amount of stuff they pulled out of that house. And I'm going, where did they fit all this stuff? So it did have an attic and a garage and a basement and 3 bedrooms. So it makes sense now that I find out it had a full finished basement as well. A lot of the houses around here don't have basements. Some of them do, but it's hard to build basements around here. It has to do with like the water table and floodplains and big rocks in the ground, and it's a pain. So a lot of houses don't have basements at all. My house doesn't have one. I wish it did, but it doesn't. Okay, he had been building, not only had he been building explosives down there, there were grenades down there. Hypothetically, he had hand grenades down there, and they were live grenades. I don't know how many, theoretically. And it's so crazy because I would never have thought that. I'm surprised, honestly. Theoretically, it may or may not be true, but I am kind of surprised. I mean, I just wouldn't have thought. I don't know what his plans were. He might not have had any plans. From what I hear, they're not aware of anything. He wasn't planning on anything, you know. But he's gone, and he's way gone. We're not going to be seeing that clown anymore. The meth people are gone. The boomy clown is gone. And so we went to the skating rink for a while. And we were not allowed to come anywhere near here. They had everything taped off, theoretically. The local police were not involved. This was like FBI level stuff, theoretically. And we were not allowed to come back for several hours. After, let's see, it was around 4:30 we started getting calls that we could come back. So I had plans to get a lot of stuff done today, and none of it got done. I got to go skating. There wasn't anything good on at the movie theater, so we didn't bother going there, because that was my first thought. I thought, well, maybe we can go see a movie or something, but not anything good on. And then I had to go pick up my older son later. I was here for a couple of hours before I had to go get him, and that's when I saw his haircut for the first time. Yeah, theoretically, it's been a weird day, and I just theoretically wanted to tell you about something that may or may not have been interesting. It's yeah, wow. It's all of a sudden Itchy and Scratchy are not that interesting. They were both hysterical. They were out in the yard crying, and their relatives are still here with the noisy trucks. They're still here. The Duke boys down the road are here. They actually weren't here this weekend, I don't think. I didn't hear them all weekend. I didn't. They must have been out mudding somewhere up in Uari or something. I don't know where they were. Out catfishing somewhere. Either theoretically or literally, or literally or figuratively, I don't know what they were doing. They weren't here. Yeah, so it was weird. Very weird. I've never experienced anything like that before. It's scary to think about. You can have somebody with all that stuff in their basement and never know. I don't know. Well, the first indication they got was that there was something in that garage. It must have been some kind of explosive, I don't know. And that might have led them to investigate further, and maybe it took them a little bit to get, to be able to do it. I don't know. I'm not involved in that level of stuff. But so we all came back, and everybody was kind of shaken up, and everybody was just, just kind of out of it. And it was kind of weird because normally people around here don't talk to each other a whole lot. They do a little bit, but today everybody was just kind of like standing out in the street and talking to one another. And I thought, well, if nothing else, we got this out of it. We're actually speaking to one another instead of just running straight in the house and shutting the door, which is what I usually do. But people were pretty shaken up by it. Several people were talking about, oh my gosh, I thought he was nice. And I'm thinking, well, you don't know that he's not. I mean, theoretically, I don't know. He never hurt any of us, and from what I know, had no plans to hurt anybody else. I mean, I don't know why he was doing that. You think a lot of stuff when you go through something like that. Your mind is desperately trying to make sense of it. Like, I don't get it, hypothetically. It may all be made up. You don't know. But it's been a ridiculous day. They were more concerned about how it's going to affect their dog, Boots, the little fluffy Instagram dog. They took Boots straight in the house and said they were not going to let Boots back out for a little while. Boots apparently, I didn't know they made bidets for dogs, but apparently Boots has a bidet and has been trained to use it, but keeps trying to drink the water that shoots up, and they're embarrassed by that, so don't tell anybody I mention that because they'd be embarrassed. I don't know how Boots' Instagram career is going. I haven't really been following it that closely. But they were more concerned about how this was going to affect Boots, and apparently Boots has a photo shoot in the morning and they're afraid that Boots is too upset to go on. And I'm thinking, I'm pretty sure Boots doesn't give a shit about the neighbor with the explosives. I'm pretty sure Boots does not care. Boots is fine. Let him drink some bidet water and he'll be all right. Drink some bidet water and, you know, get a snack out of the litter box. She'll be good. But that's about all. Anything else I had? I think there were some other things I wanted to talk to you about. I can't remember them anymore. That was the biggest thing. And I'm hoping against hope that means that we are completely 100% done with the drama from any of the houses in this neighborhood. Because I'm just personally over it. I'm really hoping this will convince the people who own it to just sell it. Like, look, you have no luck with renters, obviously. Just sell it. Just sell it. You put all this money into it. Just sell the freaking house and be done with it. Let it be somebody else's problem. Anyway, that's about it. I don't know. Take it for whatever it's worth. I really hope you enjoy these theoretical neighborhood updates, and if you don't, then I'm sorry, but I will see you again really soon. Thank you so much for watching.